Hi guys, welcome back to Girl Therapy. I'm your host Nicole. Thank you for coming back another week. I am so sorry about last week. I decided to take the week off, if you noticed, which I'm sure you did because I know you listen every single week and I missed you guys. But yeah, I was in Costa Rica and I was like, maybe I'll record an episode there, but I honestly just wanted to lean into the whole thing and just enjoy my time when I was there and just like take a little break, I haven't taken a break from recording this podcast every single week for almost a year, which I'm proud of. Like, I'm not going to take breaks often. That was just like the one time I was like, let me just not, because I don't want to force an episode and then be like, it be sloppy or whatever. So anyways, that's that. I'm so happy to be back. Costa Rica was an amazing trip. I met an amazing group of women, and they changed my life. Like, every single one of them, I took a piece of them home with me and they added value. And it was just really refreshing to be around like-minded women who all support each other. And a lot of people were in the health and wellness space. So that was really fun to meet all them, and all of them have their businesses and are entrepreneurs. And it was just super inspiring. And it's crazy just how many of like our lives overlap, or just how similar you are to people when you get out there and you start talking to people and you realize like, oh, I've been through that, or like, oh, I want to do that, or people who have just are able to have wisdom that maybe you wouldn't have. It's like people like expose you to parts of yourself actually, and that's like a good way to put it. And they rub their wisdom off on you, and to meet somebody and then for them to say something that really resonates with you, and you're just like, you have the moment and you're like, wow, if I never met you, like I would have never heard that, or I'd have never learned that, or like, I don't know, it's just like nice to get that from somebody who also doesn't really know you or like know the things that you're going through. Because sometimes with your friends, it's like, oh, do they just say that because they know they know me, or they know the situation or whatever. So to like meet some of these women who like really know nothing about me, and they say so many things that like resonate with me, but also like just really hit home for me, and they don't even know it, or really impact me and they don't even really know the depths of like how much something impacted me, is just really special. And it was an incredible experience. If you're interested in doing something like that, I highly suggest you do it. Like I said, a lot of you guys were asking me like how I found that Pilates retreat, and I found it because I met Johanna, who hosted it at an event, and she's in the fitness and wellness space in Miami. She's been in the Pilates game for so long. She is an incredible instructor, and she is just one of my favorite people. Like, she's made me feel so seen and supported, and she was just like a day one homie, she just keeps it real. And it's hard to find people like that who keep it real. She almost keeps it too real. She frightens me sometimes, but I love her. And I aspire to be like her. She's an amazing instructor. So when she was hosting the retreat, I was like, absolutely, I know you'll bring together an amazing group of women. She didn't like host it through a studio or anything like that. She just did it herself. But there's a lot of studios that host retreats. So I suggest finding someone who like you really like, because at the end of the day, they're hosting the retreat. So if you don't like that person, you're not going to want to spend time with them, or probably the people that they surround themselves with, if that makes sense. Like, so she brought together an amazing group of women, just as I suspected she would. And I've definitely made lifelong friends, and some of them live in Miami too, which is amazing. So definitely suggest you checking out one of your local studios that you really frequent who hosts events, and see if they have any retreats. Sorry, I'm like getting distracted right now. There's like a lot of stuff going on. My brain's like really crazy right now. I'm having a chaotic day, guys. Basically, because I just feel like we haven't chatted in so long, and so much has changed and gone on, and I just wanted to do a little Q&A with you guys, and you guys asked me some questions on Instagram. I haven't even opened them up yet, so we're going to open them up right now. And I'm assuming it's going to be a mix of a lot of things. So I hope you guys are just down for the ride. It could be about me. It could be about you. I don't know what you guys asked me, but you guys always ask me a really amazing question. So let's just get right into it without further ado. One of the questions I answered last night on my Instagram, because I felt that it needed to be addressed publicly, like for you guys to read. I just wanted to, this is like the question that I wanted to basically start the, this episode with, because I also addressed this on TikTok, and I was talking to my therapist too, because I was like, I feel like my videos aren't doing as well. And I basically told her about like the content that I used to make. And my content used to be like about dating and partying and going out and, you know, all this crazy, whatever. It was like I was in my early 20s. I was having a good time. I was kind of sacrificing some morals, but I also like didn't realize I was doing that. Like I was just living life as if there's no consequences. And I was really just, I don't know, I would post everything. I'd share everything, sometimes too much, definitely too much. And I didn't really have boundaries with me, with you guys, with anybody. And I didn't really respect other people's boundaries, specifically men, if they ever had any who I went out with. Like, just if you were there for the dating times, it was like, it's not like a man was ever like, don't post me, and I posted him, but it was just like going on a date, like I'd bring you guys. And even though they said I could do it, it's like, but was that really the right thing to do? Or just talking about, you know, people online, like guys, actually mostly just guys, which was like fun. It's like, whatever. I didn't say anything that really hurt anybody, but just to share, you know, a dating experience, like that's a personal thing. And that's definitely something that I am no longer doing. Like you guys are very curious about my dating life, which makes sense, because that's why maybe a lot of you guys found me or resonated with me or whatever it was. But that's something now that I really keep to myself and that I choose to keep to myself. And that's important to me. And I also have gone through a lot of changes. Like you guys know I'm sober now. Or if you don't, I'm sober now. I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke weed. I don't do anything. And I love my sober life. I've been exploring my faith. My priorities have really changed, and I've really changed, and I've matured, and I've grown up, and I'm getting my tattoos removed and like all these things. I'm taking my piercings out. Like, it's like I'm finally not a teenager anymore, you know, like I'm finally an adult. I want a serious partnership. I want to build a life with somebody. I want to have a family, which is like so weird. Like I'm 29, like I'm not getting too ahead of the game here, but like these are the things that I want, and I'm taking everything really seriously, and I'm really being meticulous with how I carry myself and go about my life and the decisions that I make, knowing that that's going to impact the future me. And I'm wanting to be proud of the future me as well. So, and wanting to break generational traumas, you know, and dynamics. Yeah. So my therapist was like, maybe you should just like talk to your people and just be like, hey, like, just be honest, because some people might be like, this is a stark difference, especially because like TikTok hides me from a lot of people. So maybe the last time you saw me on your For You page was I was like taking shots or at an SLS party or doing a get ready with me or talking about a man or, you know, with people that I'm not friends with anymore. And then maybe you see me now and you're just like, wait, what happened? Like, or not in a bad way, but just like who, you know, I'm different. And she was like, maybe just, you know, talk them through that. She's like, it doesn't have to be a thing, but just like talk them through that, set your boundary, whatever feels right for you and authentic for you. And I was like, you're right. So I posted like a little TikTok yesterday, just being like, hey, like, I know a lot of you guys have been here for a while, but like, this is the new me now. And like, this is the me that's here to stay. And maybe it resonates with you. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe you like this. Maybe you don't. That's okay. Like, I'm going to post the content that I choose to post, you know? But somebody asked me yesterday on Instagram, and they said, do you find yourself reflecting or regretting a lot about the past in this new phase? I don't regret anything from my past. It's not like I did anything that crazy. It's not like I like was arrested a trillion times or, you know, whatever. Like I really didn't do anything that bad. I didn't get like a face tattoo, you know, but I definitely partied a lot. I definitely didn't prioritize my health and wellness as much. I was more generous with my time. I like just wasting it on whether it be people or things that weren't that important, getting involved with men who didn't support the best version of me or didn't, you know, make me feel good, didn't make me a better person, didn't make me make decisions I was proud of, and just brought out a bad side of me, or just a side of me that like wasn't me, made me abandon my morals and things that were important, my values, just to get their attention or just to make them like me or want me or feel wanted by them, or, you know, whatever it is. We all go through that, to feel validated by this fuckboy, you know, like, so yeah, like you guys saw all those things, and I was like impulsive and crazy. You guys saw me get my tattoos and whatever, what have you. And I've always been rebellious since birth. You could ask my mother. I've been always rebellious. So it's been 29 years coming. I'm sure she's very happy. But she told me yesterday, she's like, I'm proud of you for the person that you are and are becoming. And that was really nice to hear. But, I was just figuring out who I was. At the end of the day, we all go through that. We all have to figure out who we were. So no, I don't regret that. I think I'm glad I got that out of my system in my 20s and early teens. Rather now, I don't want to be a 30-year-old going through a rebellious phase. I don't want to have a midlife crisis because I feel like I didn't do the things. I did the things. I know what it feels like to be drunk. I know what it feels like to be rejected. I know what it feels like to get involved with the wrong guy. I know what it feels like to be in a toxic relationship. I know what it feels like to be involved with the wrong people, to be friends with the wrong people, to waste my weekends hungover, to make the mistakes, to whatever. I know what those things feel like. And I'm happy I did those things so that I can move forward and be like, I did that. I've tried that route before. I know where that leads me. Don't love it, but it did lead me to who I am today. But it's like we move past it now, So I don't ever think back and think like, oh, I miss those times. The only reason, or like think back and like cringe at myself, right? I think back and I reflect and I say like, wow, like that was the version of me then. And what did I learn from that? Like a lot of times there's been, I'm probably going to experience similar situations or meet people who maybe aren't great for me in this lifetime. I can't filter out the people who enter my life. There's going to be people who enter my life who it's up to me to have the respect and boundaries for myself and be like, hey, I remember experiencing somebody like you in the past. How did I navigate this person and how do I not let you into my life? Just put up a big stop sign for that person. So in a sense, it is so important to remember parts of your past so that you don't bring them into your future. So you don't welcome them back into your future. So that's really the only time that I use the past and I use it to my advantage. And I also just want to make it known that this isn't a phase. Like, this is who I am. This is who I am at my core. It's taken a while for me to come back to this person, to this home, and it's like, this is who I am at my core. And I had to like stray away and figure out all these things to learn more about myself, right? To figure more things out about myself. But I've returned home to who I am, but now a better version, if that makes sense, like an elevated one where it's like I was born with love and kindness and respect and values and morals. Like I was born with all these things who make me me. And I had to go out there in the world, experience all the things that I did so I could come back to that version of me, but elevated, but better, but with the lessons, with the experiences to fine tune these things about me and make them even better. So now it's like, yeah, I was born with love, but now I have even more love, even though I've been hurt more, even though I've been really, dragged through the mud, even though I've like had bad relationships and experiences. I return to myself with more love. I don't let the past define things about my future. Like I don't carry those things into my future. So even though I've been hurt or lied to or, whatever, bad things have happened, abandoned, all these things, I've healed that so I can come back stronger and make me proud that I've overcome those things, but also never make somebody else feel like that and cultivate really strong relationships, friendships, bonds in my life. I know what it's like to have a broken family, and I've mended those things about my family. Like I'm working on that, but now I'm breaking the generational trauma of that and knowing I'm not going to carry that into my family that I'm going to make. So long story short, like none of this is a phase. Like this is who I am, and this is who I am going to be. You're not going to see me go back to the person that I was. And if you do, then something's terribly wrong. Check me into an institute. But you're not going to see me go from being like, a sober Nicole to now in a couple months I'm going to be out partying and drinking again. Like it's not like that. This is who I decide to be every single day and who I'm going to decide to be for the rest of my life, because I know what it's like to not be this version of me and I don't like it. So you're not going to see me go back to old patterns because I didn't like those. And I love this new life. I love this new me that I've created. And I think a lot of you guys have grown up with me. Like, there's just no option. Like, there's no going back, you know? Once you move past that, it's like, we're grown. I'm grown. And thank God, but had to go through it, right? That being said, that was really long. That being said, let's go through some of the questions that you guys asked me. And like I said, I have no idea what you guys asked me. So here we go. First one, are you still attending VU or are you taking a break? So VU is the non-denominational church that I go to here in Miami. I am still going, but I have been kind of taking a break from going in person just because of my yoga teacher training. It's so VU's on Sunday, of course. I have teacher training from 2 to 6. Not that you guys care. Here's my schedule. So there's VU at 12:30, but they usually don't start till around 1, and then it goes till around 2 or 2:30 sometimes, depending. So, and then with traffic and everything, I would be late to my teacher training. And I don't like to go to the morning one just because it's too much. Like, I'm doing this thing where I don't overcommit or spread myself thin. Like, I'm going to church because I don't want to be stressed. You know, it's supposed to be a really relaxing experience. And I think if I were to like do that, like, it would just be too much for my Sunday. So I've just been watching it online live, and that's fine. Like, it's not exactly the same, but it's better than nothing at all. So I'll just pop it on while I like eat breakfast before my yoga teacher training in the morning. And that's that. But yeah, so I still do that. I think if you are interested in exploring your faith, you should absolutely pop it on YouTube. If you're not in Miami, it's nice. They're doing their segment on money this week. So, or this month. So that's been really good. But yeah, definitely still going, definitely still exploring my faith, and, you know, getting better at like praying and talking every day to God. I also just want to say, like, some of you guys do identify as Catholic. I don't really identify as anything. Like, yes, I was born Catholic. I wear a cross. I was baptized. I went through my communion, all this stuff, my confirmation. But I'm open to, like, I respect all religions. And I think and religious is a touchy topic. I know that. So if this, whatever, you can skip over this or ignore me, but it's not that I don't stand for something. Like, yes, I am Catholic, but is it my identity? No. Like, I think like sometimes religions can be put against each other if you put yourself into a little pocket, like, oh, she's this, she's that. And like, the point, I think religion and faith is supposed to bring people together. So it's like, I just have faith. That's what it is. I just have faith in a higher power, and you can assign it whatever you want. Universe, God, Allah, you know, whatever God you want to worship, thing you want to worship is fine. And like, I don't want to say I'm this and then make somebody feel bad about their religion or make somebody feel like we're different because of that. It's like, we're all kind of the same. We all are the same. We all, you know, it's all the same. So anyways, that's kind of like my viewpoint on it. Like, I don't go around being like any particular way about it because I always want to be open-minded to all religions and accepting of all religions and faith and whatever have you. So there's that. That was a bonus to that question. Do you plan on doing yoga online for people who aren't in your area, and boxing? Probably never. I've taught boxing. I probably won't ever do that again. But yoga, I'll definitely explore online options for you guys. Absolutely. Somebody asked how my faith journey is going. So that just goes into that. It's going great. I love it. I love praying. I love talking to God. It's nice. Sometimes I feel a little schizophrenic just talking to myself, God, you know, whether it be at night or on a walk or whatever I'm doing. But it's nice. It's nice to get my thoughts out there and just be like, hey, like, let's talk about what's going on. And then I like to ask for signs a lot of the time and for some guidance. And it's fun it kind of like keeps you like on your toes. You know, it's like, let's see what surprises we have today. So there. How do you forgive and forget, especially when people are saying rude stuff about you? I mean, if they're talking about you, like, I mean, that's just, it's like, what, do you have nothing else to talk about? Great. Like, keep my name in your mouth. Like, I'm glad I'm more interesting than you are. That's how I feel about that. To gossip and to talk about drama, it's so low vibrational. So pray for that person. Speaking about faith, how do you forgive and forget? So like, I mean, if somebody's still saying rude things about you, I wouldn't how do you, like, what do I want to forgive that person every single day? No, like, I'm going to just not surround myself with that person if they're saying rude stuff about me. I'm going to hold you accountable. You're talking about me? I don't want you around me. That's it, you know? And then you move on. You don't have to essentially forget, just like I was talking about earlier. It's like, I'm not forgetting all these parts of me because those things made me. Like, I'm taking the pieces of that I need to make sure that I continue to lead a life that I am proud of, and don't forget about the mistakes that I made, because if I forget about the mistakes that I made, I'm going to make the same mistakes. So you don't have to forget everything. Definitely forgive. Always forgive. I think that's really powerful, but that doesn't mean you have to be friends with that person. It doesn't mean you have to be besties. It doesn't mean you have to, be cool with them. It just means that you're so whatever. You're so just like, I'm happy with who I am. I love who I am. And I'm going to find people who are aligned with me and don't talk about me, because there's people out there who are like, always forgive. Absolutely. Because to hold in any anger or resentment or anything towards a particular person or thing or situation is only hurting you. So you just you do whatever you have to do to forgive that thing, whether it's you maybe write a letter. Maybe you write that letter and you burn it, like a little ceremony, whatever it is that you have to do to forgive that person. Maybe talk to them. You don't even have to talk to them directly, but if you want to, if that's a thing, you can absolutely do that. Say your piece and that's it. And then you walk away, and you're going to be so much stronger because of that, and so respectable too. Like, I've had people who hurt me or whatever, and it's just like, you're lost type of vibe, you know? If future Nicole looked back at who you are now, what would she feel about your direction? She would be so happy. She would be so proud. She'd be like, bitch, you don't drink? What? She'd be like, bitch, no, you telling me you live in Miami, you don't party? Like, what are you doing? No, she'd be really proud though. She'd be a little confused, but I think she'd be super proud. And I think she'd think it was really funny that I'm like back to teaching, because I grew up in like a very my family's business was owning a martial arts studio, and me being rebellious, of course, it's like, I didn't want to be a part of the family business. I don't want to own my own studio. I don't want to teach kickboxing or martial arts or karate or open my own business. And now here I am getting my yoga certification, coming back to health and wellness, and which is essentially like my roots, and wanting to maybe open my own studio in the future. And that was one of the questions. I would absolutely open my own yoga studio, but I would make it more of like a community thing. Like, it's not just going to be your average yoga studio, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think future Nicole would be a little bit like, girl, like, that's funny because like you didn't want to, but now here you are. But it's like, I found the path that was right for me, if that makes sense. Like, I didn't just do the martial arts thing because that was easiest and that would have been handed to me. I went my own route. I knew I loved health and wellness. Like, I've always been like that. I've always loved working out and eating healthy and making people feel good and making myself feel good. But I just discovered yoga 3 years ago. So I thought I hated yoga my whole life. I did hate yoga for a while. Like, when I first did it, I was like, what? I was forced to do it because I hurt my knee and I had nothing else to do. And I was also hurt inside. And yoga found me. It's like those stickers where it's like, the dog didn't rescue me, or I didn't rescue the dog, he rescued me. Like, that's how I feel about yoga. It's like, yoga rescued me. I didn't rescue yoga. But I don't know. Yoga like changed my life, and it's just so funny because it found me when I was like rejecting it and wanted like nothing to do with it. And now it's like my whole life, and it's going to be my future. So yeah, I think future me would be really, really proud, and she'd be like, you know what? You should be like, this makes sense, but I'm happy that you found your own path with it. And I'm happy you didn't just like do it because you felt like you had to. It's like, I'm doing something I'm fully passionate about. And I found my niche in the health and wellness industry that I just can actually be consistent with and stick with, because also teaching something like kickboxing where it's like high intensity, it's like, I didn't want to do that because like, that's not sustainable. It's hard on your body, like this, that. It's like, I could teach yoga when I'm 100 years old, I'm going to be killing it. So yeah, there's that. I think she'd be really, really proud and happy. And she would definitely be like, oh, that was Sean who asked that. He's in my yoga teacher training. She would, hi Sean, if you're listening to this, she'd be kicking her feet, but she'd also be like, I'm surprised you're not married yet. A guy canceled a date twice, bin him or give him the benefit of the doubt. What's the benefit of the doubt? Canceled twice? I mean, that's a tough one to come back from. I don't like people who are flaky. Think about that. Like, if they canceled twice and Do you want to date somebody like that? I mean, I don't know the specific situation, so I can't tell you. It's like if his grandma died, like, okay, I mean, we got to understand that, right? But if he's just canceling to cancel because other plans came up, it's like, okay, well, I'm not a priority. And if you're not treating me like a priority right now when you're trying to impress me, you're probably not going to treat me like a priority later. So I would say just back off. And I mean, I would make him work really hard for it. Let him like triple bajillion text you, like make him prove like he wants to make it up to you. Because I've had this. Not a guy cancel, but a guy forget. And I started just like blowing him off. I started like not answering his texts or DMs or anything anymore because I was like, you're done. And he was so consistent to the point where I was like, you know what, I'll give you another chance. And I'm really happy I did. But like, he's gonna have to work for it because canceling twice is just, I wouldn't let my friends cancel twice. I'm gonna be like, bitch, what is going on? Do you not like me? What do you think helped you the most and made you the most aware in finding yourself? Wow, this is a good question. I think feeling things so stupid. It's like, I'm realizing things like, what is that Kylie quote? Was it Kylie or Kendall? I don't know. I think it has to do with the fact that I accepted myself for who I am. Like, I'm a very emotional person. Like, I feel deeply. And I used to really put up a guard and try to be strong for the people around me, for myself. I put up an armor, and my internal dialogue too, like about the things that I would tell myself, the conversations I'd have with myself in my head, like weren't always the healthiest. They were really limiting. Like I used to think like I would never be a good partner to somebody because I just haven't had to be that maternal in so long, and I forget how to be that way, and I just couldn't see myself being, really vulnerable with somebody. And it was you guys who made me realize, like, bitch, you're vulnerable. I keep saying bitch today, sorry. You're vulnerable with us on the internet every day, with people every day. Like, you show us love every day. Like, my friendships would be like, you're the most loving person. What do you mean? And it was really just like me having to be like, wait, Nicole, like, you do know how to be a good partner to somebody. You do know how to be super loving. You do know how to be vulnerable and open, and like, you are safe. You're safe being you. It's okay to just be you. And I think it took me accepting that and accepting the fact, like, you know what, I'm not always strong. I'm gonna ask for help sometimes. And I think opening up my heart in that way helped me come back to myself, because it made my connections with people so much stronger and more meaningful. And people could really see my heart then, where before they were maybe not seeing it fully, or I wasn't allowing them to see it fully. And that helped me really find like myself and my tribe and my people, and just like made me feel the happiest because I was expressing myself and I was being true to myself. I also think, like, I hate to say it, no I don't, but sobriety, I think so many, even actually not even just that, but like that, but also when you surround yourself with things that aren't feeding your soul, whether it be people, alcohol, partying, all these things, they're distractions. It's you distracting yourself for whatever reason. And once I took away those distractions, and it was like, I wasn't partying. I was forced to be sober. I was forced to be with my thoughts. A lot of people drink to escape. A lot of people party to escape. I wasn't escaping anymore. I was like, I am going to feel the things. I'm going to, sit alone with myself, and be honest with myself, and really look at things for what they are. You see people differently too when you drink. You maybe see them as better than they are. Like, how many times have you gone out and you're like having so much fun with somebody and you're drunk and they're drunk and you're like, oh, that's the best person ever. And then you meet them again and you're sober and you're just like, wait, how did we connect? Like, what? Like, sobriety really took all distractions out of my life, and I had to find better ways to use my time and my energy in ways that were constructive and like actually gave back to me And that was really helpful. It was like I was exploring different sides of me because I had all this more time and energy to put towards that. Leaning into my hobbies helped me come back to myself, like finding horseback riding again. Just little things like that, like reading again, staying in, lighting a candle, being alone with myself. All things that made me come back to myself and feel like myself, and just spending more time with myself and less time with other people, just to spend time with people, to just like, I wasn't trying to drown out things anymore or water things down anymore. It was like, I'm forced to live with myself and be really raw with myself and be alone with myself and spend time with myself. And when you're like doing one of those allergy tests where you eliminate like your entire diet and you eat like the core things, and then you slowly start to like introduce things back into your life, and I pick and chose what I introduced back into my life, if that makes sense. So, and then I was left with only the things that made me the happiest and made me feel the best about myself. And that's how I came back to myself, and that's why I continue to flourish and grow, because the things in my life I'm just so aligned with and I love so much, and those only bring more things into my life that I love and more things that align with me. I found my perfect alignment. Advice for losing friends for the better, but feeling guilty about it? Wait, that's no, I don't know. You should never feel guilty for something that's good for you. At the end of the day, it's your life. You're alone with yourself in your coffin. It's just you. This is your life. You are the one who have to live with yourself. At the end of the day, you come home to yourself. That they're probably not feeling guilty. They were probably using you in some way, shape, or form, or taking something from you. Like if they weren't a good fit for you, if they weren't a good friend for you, then you shouldn't feel guilty for eliminating them. Let them use somebody else. Let them, do that to somebody else. They have to live with themselves, but protect yourself, protect your energy. And you don't have to feel guilty. I don't know any other way to say, like, just don't feel guilty. As long as you are being kind, and you can do it in a kind way, right? Like, you can lose friends and just, you don't have to be mean about it. Like, you can just be like, it just didn't work out. Like, and that's okay. You still send them love every day, root for them, pray for them, but don't allow them in your energy. Don't allow them to take from you. Guilt is, if you feel guilty, you're still allowing them access to your energy. Any advice on going to college but not knowing what to major in? I mean, I went to college and I picked a major. I was pre-veterinary. I look back now and I'm like, do I wish I went to business? Yeah, I think it's ridiculous that they ask you to choose a major when you're like 18 years old. I would say just pick one and just pick whatever's calling you. And then you can change it when you start to discover yourself more. But maybe if you don't know exactly, pick up from something more broad, like business, marketing, something. I wish I just went for business. I think that's an extremely useful tool. If you don't have something that's like specifically calling you, I just say go for something broad. And then as you start to explore more things and, do random classes too, like dabble in random classes and figure out what you really enjoy. And then you can kind of start to narrow it down, if that helps. But also just know, like, at the end of the day, I don't even think I ever used my college. Like, I don't even think I ever used a resume. Like, nobody ever cared about it. Like, I was applying for sales jobs and it's like I was pre-veterinary. They didn't care. It's all about your like charisma at the end of the day, like your motivation, like who you are. Like, yeah, you have to be a little smart, you have to be a little socially aware, but like at the end of the day, they're not gonna be like, oh, this was your major, we're not gonna hire you. Like, that's how I feel. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I feel. Unless you're going to like, being like a lawyer or doctor, obviously you need to like have those things. But other than that, I would just say like, pick something that you feel like you enjoy and then just go from there. And if you end up switching it, then you switch it. Do I want to settle in Miami? Yes. You seem really happy there. Yeah, I won't live in Brickell forever, but I'll definitely be here forever. At least I think right now. Who knows? Life comes at you fast, right? But I'm the happiest I've ever been here. This place has always felt like home. I can't imagine another cross-country move, but I would love to have a place somewhere else too. But I think Florida and South Florida is definitely home base. It's definitely where I've always felt the happiest. I feel like I'm getting distracted from God with everything going on. Have you felt this? Yeah, I mean, like, life gets busy, but I think like God's not asking you, right, to like go to church every Sunday. That's yes, absolutely do that if you can, but he's not going to be mad at you. Like, God gives us grace every day. Give yourself grace. And I think as long as you like remember he's there and like talk to him and like, you pray, or you could just talk to him in your head, or just throughout the day, just be like, hey, like, that's enough. That's enough for him. Do what you can. But there's definitely times that I'm really busy and I'm just like, I should have like taken more time. But I think when you take your time for yourself, you're taking time for God, because he's within us and we carry him with us throughout the day. So just checking on yourself, checking on him. But yeah, I think that's totally normal. I'm turning 30 next year. Me too. Starting to notice I've aged so much. How do you feel confident in it? I get more confident every single year. I've never been more confident in my life. I'm confident because I love who I'm becoming. And yeah, we get older. I think aging is a privilege. I think you're confident in it by just being confident in yourself and you express gratitude. I think the antidote to anything is gratitude. And just being like, it's a privilege that I get to age. I'm so lucky that I get to age. I'm so lucky that I get to grow up, and I'm lucky that my body has changed and that I'm getting older and that I'm getting wiser. So I think as long as you love who you're becoming, like there's no reason why you should feel anything but confident in that. I'm excited to turn 30 actually. I'm not going to rush it, but I don't see me turning 30 and be like, oh, like shit, I wish I wasn't 30. Like I'm like, I'm so much smarter than the 22-year-old me. I'm so much smarter than the 25-year-old me. I have so many more things to look forward to in this life that it's okay, you know, like there's just so many things moving forward. So I think the only time you can ever like feel bad about it is if you're constantly looking back in the past, like, or constantly whatever. It's like, try not to look so much in the past and just think about all the things that you have coming in your future and just be grateful. Just be so grateful. And also live each day like it's your last, because you truly never know. It's morbid, but you really never know. So be grateful for your health and every single day, and really take in the moment and live in the now. Because if you distract yourself with the future and all these things, life is going to go by really fast and you're going to be like, wow, I didn't even enjoy that when I had the chance to. And suddenly I'm 40. I feel like I'm constantly outgrowing friends. That's a good thing. Any advice? No, I think if you are outgrowing people, and like honestly outgrowing people, not like, oh, that person did this about me, throw them in the bin, next. Like we can't expect people to be perfect. We can't expect people to grow with us. But if you're outgrowing people, then maybe that person, maybe you're aligning with friends in the first place or maybe you're befriending people in the first place who weren't aligned with you. And then you start to get to know them and you're just like, wait, like actually we're not like each other. So I think vetting people out is important. Like being more selective with the people that you're surrounding yourself with, because maybe you're outgrowing people really fast because they weren't even really like you or on the same path as you in the first place. But I think if you are like friends with these people and you've been friends with them and you're starting to realize, wait, I outgrew Susan and I outgrew Anna and I outgrew this person, like kind of all at the same time, that's part of life. Not all friendships are supposed to last forever. I guess my only advice would just be to let those things, like let that happen naturally. Maybe you find your way back to each other. And honestly, I've been befriending people who I like am really inspired by and who are older than me. I've met a lot of women, just like even Johanna, she's 36. Like I'm not gonna outgrow her because it's like I'm so inspired by like the life she's created, and like I look at what she has done and I'm just like, wow, you're incredible. Like she's already ahead of me so much in life, and I'm not threatened by that. I'm like amazed by it. And it would really be like impossible for me to outgrow that because I'm so enamored by her. And I think like if you find yourself like being like, these people like aren't really my people, like I'm outgrowing them, I'm not inspired by them, like maybe start looking at the patterns of the people that you're allowing in your life and being like, who do I want to be? And then find those pieces of that in other people, and constantly surround yourself by people who like bring you up, and not people who are just like inspired by you. Like yes, you want to inspire the people around you, but like you also have to have people around you who you are inspired by. So look at the people, the patterns and the people that you are surrounding yourself with, and be like, what's similar about these people, and then moving forward, make sure you like don't attract those same people or allow those same people in your life. What keeps you the most motivated? I feel like I'm hyper fixated on things but then burn out. What keeps me the most motivated? I think it's so important to become addicted to being the best version of yourself. And that's what keeps me motivated. Like this feeling that I wake up every morning and I feel good and I feel happy and inspired and loved and all these things. It's like, okay, I made myself feel like that yesterday. How did I make myself feel those things? Was it the thoughts that I fed myself? Was it the fact that I journaled that morning? Was it the fact that I worked out that day or spent time with a friend or called a friend or read or took, 10 minutes to myself or meditated, whatever it is? I look at those things and I'm like, if I did that yesterday, I want to do that again today. And if I did it yesterday, I can certainly do it again today. Like there's times when I'm like, oh, I don't want to work out or I don't want to do this. Like I have my moments, but it's like I can do it because I did it yesterday. And I think I just tell myself that. And our brain, I think sometimes wants to like protect us and keep us, a little bit like reserve our energy. And it's just like, you don't have to do that. You're tired, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, I kind of push past those thoughts and I'm like, but I know I'm going to feel good after this. And I know that I'm going to be really happy about this in the future. So I really just pay attention to the future version of me and not like I don't make decisions based on the thoughts and emotions and moods that I have in that current moment. Because I might be tired or whatever. I'm going to be tired a lot, I'm going to be whatever. Things happen in life. I can't base all my decisions and my motivations based on a current feeling. So I always think about the future version of me. And I also, in terms of like burning out and stuff like that, it's like I am in it more for the long haul. Like I try to think more big picture now. And I like I was saying earlier, I don't try not to spread myself too thin. I know that I don't have to do it all in one day. I think you can make like to-do lists too, or just like goal lists for the week. And that's really good. And even today it was like I was supposed to do something and it ended up like not having time to do it. And I just texted my team and I was like, hey, like it's just not gonna happen today, but I'll get it to you tomorrow morning. And just things like that where it's like that's what keeps me motivated is like having boundaries. Because if I were to do something when I just like didn't want to do it or didn't have the time to, or it'd be rushed or it felt like a chore, then I wouldn't be motivated to do it. Nobody wants to do things they don't want to do. So I think like setting boundaries, making lists, sectioning off your day and really planning for things helps with staying motivated, especially if you're like on like a really big new journey. Like for me, it's like, okay, I'm going to block off an hour each day to read my book and to stretch. Only an hour. And when I put it like that, it's like, I can do that. And I'm motivated to do that or a half hour, whatever it is. Start with whatever it is that you want, because that's easier to digest than like, Nicole, you have to read every single day for the rest of your life. And you have to stretch every single, and it's overwhelming. But if I'm just like, hey, like 30 minutes, whatever, whenever I can squeeze it in, I'm going to read this book and I'm going to do this at the same time, then like I can do that. That's digestible. And I take that every single day. I do that. I take it day by day. It's not like I feel like I have to do it all at once. Like I don't have to finish the book in one day. I just have to read like 10 pages, whatever it is. Like set attainable goals that keep you motivated. And I think once you start to get going too, a lot of the times you're like, wait, that wasn't that bad. Or like, I actually really enjoyed that. So when you start to feel like the effects that you get from doing something and like the joy that you feel and that sense of accomplishment, that's what keeps you motivated too. It's like try to remember, like, it's not about the workout. Like, don't think about the workout in itself. And I'm using that because that's the easiest example. Like, don't think about how hard it's going to be, but think about how good you're going to feel afterwards, and think about in the past how good you felt after you work out. And that's what I really focus on. It's like, I know that that's going to make me feel confident and accomplished and proud and whatever. And I want that feeling again. So whatever it is that I have to do to get there, I'm going to get there. And that's what kind of keeps me motivated. It's like I'm focusing just on the finish line and not so much like the little details in between, because like those things will take care of themselves. It's like once I'm at the gym, I'm there. So get to work, girly. But yeah, just I think focus on the future version of you always. How do you know if a guy is serious about you or if he's just playing games 1 month in? You'll know. I think you just know. I think if you have to sit here and question, I don't know if he's playing games or if he's serious, and he's probably playing games and he's just not there yet. And it doesn't mean that you're not a good person, or you're not amazing, or you're not worthy, or all these things. It's just like maybe he's just not there yet. And I think guys are very straightforward, and if it feels weird, it's weird. If it feels like he's not serious, he's not serious. If you feel like he's not prioritizing you, then he's probably not. Like, you never really question things with somebody who is straightforward and who isn't playing games. And how consistent is he? That's a big thing. It's like consistency is major. And yeah, I think time will just show like how consistent he is. And a guy is not gonna like be consistent, for months on end if he's just like not trying to get anywhere with you or make it something serious. And I think it's also up to you to communicate too. It's a two-way street. Like, I don't know, I'm at the age now where I'm just so blind straightforward. I'm like, hey, like I want to be in a relationship. Like, that's what I'm looking for. If that's not where you're at, cool. No harm, no foul. Like, let's just move on our merry way, and that's it. And that's going to be attractive to the right person. Somebody who doesn't want that is going to be really frightened by that, and then be like, oh my God, this girl is crazy. And I'm going to be like, yeah, I am, but I'm not wasting any time. You'll know. I think you just know when a guy is serious about you and when he's not. Could you give some tips on putting yourself out there more with dating? I mean, I think just like when you go if you are out in a group setting, I think just being really yourself and really just like open and talking to anybody will open so many doors for you, even if it's not that person specific, even if like the guy is maybe not your type or whatever it is. It's like, it's talking to people is one, it's just good to network, but two, you just never know. And it could be good practice just talking to people, getting to know people, getting to know yourself, what you're looking for in a person, by just putting out that energy that you're open, instead of just like coming off as closed off or like not wanting to talk to people because they're not your type or you weren't initially attracted to them or whatever. I think like approaching dating as just being like, I'm getting to know somebody, or just approaching like singlehood like that too. Showing yourself that you're open, you're putting out that energy that like you want people to come in, right? Starting to feel like my person isn't out there. How are you so comfortable with being single? Trying not to take offense to this. No, I'm not offended. Your person is out there. And I think if you have that mindset, then the universe is going to feel that. You're going to feel that. You're not going to be as open to dating and meeting people if you feel like, oh, like my person's not out there. Like, you choose what perspective and what lens you live life with. Your perspective is your reality, is going to shape your reality. And you have to have a really positive mindset and be like, my person is out there. If you believe there's no good men out there, if you believe, whatever, then like that's the type of energy you're going to attract. That's what you're going to believe. I choose to believe my person's out there. I choose to believe that there's amazing men out there, and I'm going to attract that. Like, if you are just always saying there's nobody good out there, nobody's my person, blah, 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 like that's what you're going to believe, and that's what you're going to see. You're constantly going to be looking at the negatives and not the positives. It's like, go on dates with men, and maybe they're not your person. That's okay. They're probably not. Honestly, chances are they're probably not. Like, it's only going to take one, and it's going to be, and it's going to take you going through all those things to find that one person and all those people. But it's like, really value the time and the people that you meet, and be like, wow, like I learned this about this person. I really enjoyed getting to know this person because they made me realize this about myself, or I realized that I like this about somebody. And just, I think just like, instead of focusing on the negatives from a relationship because or a date because it didn't go the way you wanted, right? Like, it failed, I say in quotations, because it's like, oh, like I don't want to go out with them, or it didn't go anywhere, or whatever it is. Look at the positives and think about like what you learned from that, and what you gained from that situation, because we gain from everything that we go out with. What everything that we experience, we're going to gain from any relationship that we experience, whether it be a first date or whatever. I'm comfortable being single because I love my life, and the more time that I have with myself and the more time that I spend dating and meeting people, the better I'm going to show up for my person eventually, and the better I'm going to be. And I'm going to take in this time because it's inevitable that I get into a relationship and I find my person, and I know that. Sorry, my freaking camera decided I'm a mess, guys. You guys also asked me so many questions. I didn't even get to like literally just scratch the surface of them. I am comfortable because I love myself. I know that no one person is going to complete me, and no one person is going to change my whole life. Like, that's up to me. At the end of the day, I'm spending my life with myself. It's up to me. It's my duty to make my life one that I love. I will only accept somebody who adds to that. And it's going to take more than one person to my whole life to, like, I'm not expecting one person to come in and be my whole world. I am my own world. So I just don't put so much emphasis on my identity or who I am based on whether or not I have a person or if I'm in a relationship. I'm complete. I complete myself. And when somebody comes in, it's going to be even better. But until then, I'm super happy. And I'm never going to let somebody take that away from me or be the only source of that. I am the source of my happiness. I'm the source of my love. I am home for myself. And that's that at the end of the day. So I just have faith that everything's going to be okay. And yeah. So anyways, this episode is already like over an hour long, and I still have so many more questions to get through, but I don't know, maybe I'll try to touch on some next week, or maybe we'll just do this again. I don't know. You guys let me know. I feel like I kind of went off on a tangent. I'm a little bit all over the place today, guys. I'm really sorry. I'm just like really have a lot going on today. But I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for coming back this week for another episode of Girl Therapy. Then maybe I'll do like 30 minutes next week, touching on more of some of your questions, and then we'll jump into a specific topic. But thank you guys for joining me. I love you all so much. Make sure you tag me, follow me on everything, Nicole Doyon on Instagram, Nicole _Doyon on TikTok, Nicole Doyon on Snapchat, and tag Girl Therapy Podcast or me if you listen to this and you enjoy it, and share it with friends. But I love you guys so much, and I can't wait to chat with you next week. Bye.